Hello, and welcome to Crimecast USA, your premier destination for deep dives into the most gripping crime stories across the nation. If you're joining us for the first time, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Today, we're embarking on an exhaustive exploration of a case that has rocked Frisco, Texas, and captured national attention. The tragic death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, stabbed at a high school track meet on April 2, 2025. Allegedly by 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, who claims it was self-defense. This story is a tangled web of youthful rivalry, legal battles, and a community divided. Over the course of this video, we'll unpack every layer: the incident itself, the courtroom drama, the public's reaction, and so much more. So, grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into this complex and heartbreaking tale. A crisp spring morning in Frisco, Texas, a bustling suburb north of Dallas known for its top-tier schools and thriving sports culture. On April 2, 2025, Kuykendall Stadium was alive with the energy of the UIL District 11-5A championship track meet. High school athletes from across the Frisco Independent School District, Frisco Memorial, Centennial, Wakeland, and others were warming up, chatting with teammates, and eyeing the competition. The stands were dotted with parents snapping photos, coaches barking encouragement, and students cheering for their friends. It was a scene of youthful ambition, the kind of day where personal records are broken and memories are made. But by mid-morning, that energy would shatter into chaos. Around 10 a.m., under the pop-up tent reserved for Frisco Memorial High School, 17-year-old Austin Metcalf was hanging out with his teammates. Austin was a junior, a standout student with a 4.0 GPA, and a linebacker on the football team with dreams of playing in college. He was there with his twin brother, Hunter, also an athlete, sharing a moment of downtime between events. Enter Karmelo Anthony, a 17-year-old junior from Frisco Centennial High School. According to witnesses quoted in the New York Post and Fox 4 News, Karmelo approached the memorial tent, possibly looking for a spot to sit or to catch up with someone. What happened next is where the accounts begin to diverge, but one thing is certain: a confrontation unfolded. The arrest affidavit, detailed in Fox 4 News, paints a chilling picture. Austin reportedly asked Karmelo to leave the tent, which was designated for memorial students only. Karmelo refused, and tensions flared. Words were exchanged, sharp, heated words typical of teenage bravado. Then, according to the affidavit, Austin either grabbed or pushed Karmelo, perhaps trying to usher him out. Witnesses told Yahoo News that Karmelo warned Austin, "Touch me and see what happens." Moments later, Karmelo reached into his backpack, pulled out a black knife, and plunged it into Austin's chest. The scene turned to pandemonium. Austin staggered, blood staining his track uniform, and cried out for help. His twin, Hunter, reacted instinctively, rushing to his brother's side and cradling him as he collapsed onto the grass. Teammates screamed for a coach, for medics, for anyone who could help. Meanwhile, Karmelo didn't stick around. He bolted from the tent, sprinting across the stadium grounds. But he didn't get far. A school resource officer, already on high alert at the event, apprehended him within minutes, finding the knife still in his possession. First responders arrived quickly, their sirens cutting through the stunned silence that had fallen over the crowd. Paramedics worked feverishly to stabilize Austin, rushing him to a nearby hospital. But the wound, a single deep stab to the chest, had done irreparable damage. He was pronounced dead shortly after arrival, leaving his family, friends, and teammates in a state of shock and grief. In mere seconds, a petty argument had escalated into a tragedy that would alter countless lives. The question that lingered in the air as police cordoned off the scene and students were ushered away was simple, yet profound. Why? Why did Karmelo have a knife? Why did he use it? And could this have been prevented? As we move forward, we'll explore the answers, or lack thereof, that have emerged in the weeks since. By the afternoon of April 2nd, Karmelo Anthony was in custody, facing the most serious charge imaginable for a 17-year-old, first-degree murder. Held at the Collin County Juvenile Detention Center on a staggering $1 million bond, he was thrust into a legal storm that would test the limits of Texas law and public perception. But from the moment he was detained, Karmelo didn't deny the act. According to the arrest affidavit cited by Fox 4 News, he told the arresting officer, "I'm not alleged, I did it," followed by a crucial caveat: "He put his hands on me. I told him not to." Those words would become the cornerstone of his defense. Karmelo's legal team, led by attorneys Billy Clark and Kim Cole, wasted no time. In a statement released to ABC News on April 7th, they described their client as a teenager caught in a moment of fear, not a premeditated killer. Karmelo and the entire Anthony family are sincerely saddened that a life was lost, the statement read. We urge the public to refrain from rushing to judgment before all the facts and evidence are presented. They've since filed motions to reduce his bond, arguing that $1 million is excessive for a juvenile with no prior criminal history, and to seek a better determination of the filed charge, hinting that they believe the first-degree murder accusation may not fully align with the evidence. But the prosecution sees a different story. Drawing from the affidavit and witness statements reported by Fox 4 News, they argue that Karmelo's actions were deliberate and disproportionate. They point to his warning, "Touch me and see what happens," as evidence of intent, suggesting he was ready to escalate the situation. Then there's the knife itself. How did a teenager end up with a weapon at a school-sanctioned event? Was it a tool he carried regularly, or did he bring it that day with a purpose in mind? These questions, the state contends, undermine his self-defense claim. Texas law complicates the picture. Under the state's self-defense statute, a person can use deadly force if they reasonably believe it's necessary to protect themselves from imminent serious harm or death, but the force must match the threat. If Austin's push or grab didn't pose a life-threatening danger, Karmelo's decision to stab could be deemed excessive. The prosecution may argue that an unarmed shove doesn't justify a lethal response, especially from someone who had the option to walk away. As of mid-April 2025, the legal process is just beginning. A bond hearing is scheduled for April 14th, where Karmelo's team will push for his release pending trial. Meanwhile, the prosecution is likely gathering forensic evidence, blood patterns, the knife's origin, witness testimonies to build their case. What's clear is that this courtroom battle will be long, emotional, and fiercely contested, with both sides digging in for a fight that could stretch into months or even years. In the wake of Austin Metcalf's death, Frisco's tight-knit community was plunged into mourning. Vigils sprang up almost immediately, candlelit gatherings at Kuykendall Stadium and Frisco Memorial High School, where students and parents left flowers, notes, and football jerseys in Austin's honor. Described by his father, Jeff Metcalf, in a New York Post interview as a leader of men, Austin was the kind of kid who lit up a room, smart, athletic, and fiercely loyal. His twin brother Hunter was inconsolable, telling Yahoo News, "It was really senseless. I don't know why a person would do that to someone, just over that little argument." Jeff Metcalf didn't hold back his anguish or his anger. "What kind of parents did this child have?" he asked, his words dripping with grief and frustration. A GoFundMe for Austin's funeral expenses quickly raised over $250,000, a testament to the community's love for the Metcalf family and their desire to support them through an unimaginable loss. But as one side mourned, another mobilized. Within days, an online fundraiser for Karmelo Anthony's legal defense appeared, sparking a firestorm of controversy. Launched by supporters, possibly friends, family, or sympathetic strangers, it claimed Karmelo had been jumped by Austin and Hunter and acted to protect himself. The campaign gained traction fast. By April 7th, ABC News reported it had raised over $85,000. 2 days later, Fox 4 News noted the total had soared to nearly $300,000. For some, this was a lifeline for a scared kid caught in a bad situation. For others, it was an outrage. "How can people donate to a murderer?" one commenter raged on X, echoing the sentiments of Austin's supporters. Hashtags like #JusticeForAustin trended alongside memorials, with posts demanding accountability. Yet #FreeKarmelo gained its own momentum, fueled by those who saw the case as a miscarriage of justice, a black teenager unfairly vilified for defending himself against a white aggressor. Racial undertones, whether real or perceived, began to seep into the discourse, amplifying the divide. The fundraising clash laid bare a community and a nation split down the middle. Was Karmelo a victim of circumstance or a calculating killer? The answer depends on who you ask, and the debate shows no signs of cooling. What's undeniable is the raw emotion on both sides. Grief colliding with desperation, each family pleading for their version of justice. As the story broke beyond Frisco, the media pounced. Outlets like ABC News, New York Post, and Fox 4 News ran detailed reports, piecing together timelines and quoting officials. But with visibility came chaos. Social media platforms became breeding grounds for rumors, and soon, misinformation took root. By early April, fake accounts posing as Frisco Police Chief David Shilson began circulating bogus claims. One widely shared post included a fabricated autopsy report alleging Austin died of a drug overdose, not a stab wound, a lie that spread like wildfire. The Frisco Police Department scrambled to respond. In a statement covered by Fox 4 News, they debunked the rumors. The Collin County Medical Examiner's Office has not released a report. Any information currently found online is false. The FBI even stepped in, assisting with an investigation into the disinformation campaign, which some speculated was designed to inflame racial tensions given the demographics of the case. Karmelo is black, Austin was white. The fallout was brutal. Austin's family faced a barrage of conspiracy theories, forcing them to relive their trauma with every false narrative. Karmelo's family, meanwhile, endured death threats and harassment, their plea for a fair trial drowned out by online vitriol. His attorneys, quoted in ABC News, condemned the prejudice and bigotry swirling around the case, begging for patience until the evidence could speak. This wasn't just a local story anymore. It was a national lightning rod exposing the dangers of unfiltered information in a digital age. The truth, buried beneath layers of noise, became harder to discern, leaving both families caught in a media maelstrom they never asked for. At the core of this case are two families whose lives have been upended. For the Metcalfs, the loss of Austin is a gaping void. Hunter, who watched his twin die in his arms, struggles to make sense of it. "I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab," he told Yahoo News, his voice heavy with regret. Their parents, Jeff and his wife, have leaned on their faith, organizing vigils and thanking the community for their support. Yet no amount of love can fill the absence left by their son. Across town, the Anthony family faces their own ordeal. In their first public statement, reported by ABC News, they expressed sorrow for Austin's death. "We are sincerely saddened that a life was lost." But they also defended Karmelo, portraying him as a frightened teenager, not a hardened criminal. They've stayed largely out of the spotlight, save for their attorneys' pleas, perhaps wary of the public backlash that's already targeted them. The contrast is stark yet hauntingly similar. Two families grieving, two futures altered. The Metcalfs seek justice through punishment, the Anthonys through exoneration. Caught between them is a community wrestling with its own pain, and a story that's as much about humanity as it is about crime. Let's break down the legal stakes. Texas law allows self-defense, but it's a tightrope. Karmelo must prove he reasonably believed Austin posed an imminent threat of serious harm, and that stabbing him was his only option. The prosecution, per the affidavit in Fox 4 News, will counter that a push or grab from an unarmed teenager doesn't justify a knife to the chest. They'll lean on Karmelo's warning and the presence of the weapon as signs of intent. Witness accounts will be pivotal. Did Austin lunge aggressively, or was it a minor scuffle? The defense might argue Karmelo's fear was heightened by the crowd, the chaos, the moment. The prosecution will push premeditation, asking why he didn't retreat. It's a classic he said, except one voice is silenced forever. Frisco hasn't been the same since April 2nd. Schools tighten security, metal detectors at games, stricter bag policies, while parents demanded answers. How did a knife slip through? The incident sparked debates about youth violence, mental health, and school safety, with no easy fixes in sight. Yet amidst the fear, unity emerged. Vigils, fundraisers, a collective resolve to heal. This tragedy forced a reckoning, a mirror held up to a community that prides itself on excellence. The wounds are fresh, but the response hints at resilience. The road ahead is long. The April 14th bond hearing is just the start. Trial could be months away, with appeals possible beyond that. For the Metcalfs, justice is accountability. For the Anthonys, it's vindication. Beyond the courtroom, this case challenges us to reflect on safety, on empathy, on truth in a polarized world. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. If you found value here, please like, share, and subscribe to Crimecast USA. We'll keep you posted as this story unfolds. Until next time, stay curious and stay kind. Given the complexities of this case and the high emotions involved, what specific aspects of the trial, such as witness testimony, forensic evidence, or legal arguments, do you anticipate will be most closely scrutinized by the public and the media?